Pax vobiscum, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, and to another episode of the Vestal Virgin Plays. When I first started up this game, I realized just how loud the background music was, so I went ahead and turned that down just so we could speak together momentarily. So if you hear my little cat meowing in the background, she has decided that it is time to run all over the house and scream, so I apologize if you happen to hear her. So today we're playing, let's see if I can pronounce it. I said it over and over in my head, and I don't know if I can. Loverowind. Loverowind? Loverowind? Lover of Wind is what I think is sort of the play of words there. So the store description page sort of described this as a walking simulator, all about wanting to enjoy the experience of atmospherics, and something about enjoying the thought of a spring wind. So I'm very curious to see what this has in store for us. And so my sort of intent for this game is to do a non-commentary walkthrough, since it specifically said in the description that there was a want to focus on atmosphere. So no commentary, you won't have to listen to me prattle on this time, and can sort of enjoy the lack of my voice and the sound design, and then we can actually have the master volume turned up. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and begin, and I do hope you enjoy. I must say, true to what the store page said, this was quite a short game. But not too short, not too long. I think it was a very playable length. I do think the certain sections that you'll probably see, I think I'm going to go ahead and shorten them a little bit, of where you had to soar across the plains. That was very fun in its own way, but that got it was just a hair little bit too long for me personally. But as you can see here, lovely graphics, and they left notes of what assets they actually used. This was made using the Unreal Engine. By a small team of people, and I liked that they thanked their families at the end too. So, congratulations to the developers and designers and those who made this game. This was quite enjoyable, and it was sort of a walking simulator with poetry. So that was very, very neat, and I think I might actually find the poem that they were referencing and read it in full, because it was quite beautiful, and I actually hadn't heard of that poem before, but the quality of the sound was quite good as well, the graphics, and just this particular portion here, there's nothing quite like that quality of light and the sound of the wind, and there goes my little cat. She was sitting on my lap purring. Just something so magical about that sort of setting. Now I will say what did surprise me at the end was, walking out to look at the wind, and there was a sudden tornado that came and swept us away, so I guess leading to the inevitability of everything too much of a good thing. Or also the concept of spring, and spring, at least where I grew up, spring was a wonderful time of year, but spring leading into summer was also a time of great turmoil, and you actually saw quite a few tornadoes, so I guess I'm used to that in one way, shape, or form. But all in all, a very pleasant game to play, very quick. The puzzles were simple, so simple that even I solved them without having to look up a tutorial. I was very proud of myself. Not much to say. Music was very pretty. The mechanics of the game, again, very simple. But fun. I did find myself, it wasn't, I must play over and over, but it was a solid level of fun, and I think part of that too came from, just the very simple sort of quests, if you will, and then what was rather enjoyable was the fact that you got to fly around, and ever since I was a little girl, all I've ever wanted to do is fly. So, fly like, have wings and soar along with the wind and so forth. And this game scratched that itch. So getting to soar along the plains like that, you can almost feel your fingers rippling through the soft flowers as you soar past. And I think the second field was my favorite. If anything, the striking color palette of the black sand and the bright blue flowers almost looked like cornflowers, and that final setting with the water and the flowers. And I will say the sky animation was quite striking. I could almost just sit and stare at that for, about 20 minutes during my meditations. It was very mesmerizing and very high quality, so kudos to either the developers if they made that, or if it was an asset that they utilized. Very, very nice. So, lovely game. Very easy to play, and like with the other ones, I'll try to include the Steam store page at the end as well. So go ahead and give this game a shot. It's a fun little game if you want to play something, but nothing that's super stimulating or story heavy or anything. Just good, clean, windy fun, if you will. So let me know if you do play it, or let me know if you have played it. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this game. So that being said, it's really not much to say. A lovely, not walking simulator, a lovely wind simulator. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, Pax Vobiscum. Goodbye.